Welcome back, explorers, to our anime science adventure. Today, we're conquering the final two realms of living organisms. If you've been following our Explainer series, you know we've been mapping the vast, wild world of living things. Well, today we step into the absolute most massive and complex zones on our entire map. Get ready. We've got a packed map for today's quest. We'll do a quick recap, then explore Kingdom Plantae, dive into the Animalia invertebrates, climb up to the vertebrates, complete our 5-kingdom map, and finish with our final adventure quiz. Let's do this. Section 1, Recap and the New Worlds. Okay, so remember our master scientist, R.H. Whitaker? He proposed this incredible 5-kingdom classification to organize literally every living thing on Earth. We've already survived the microscopic single-celled worlds of Monera and Protista, and we navigated the fungi kingdom, where organisms absorb food from decaying matter. So now, we enter the massive multicellular worlds of Plantae and Animalia. These are the realms of truly complex life, and things are about to get really, really exciting. Section 2, Exploring Kingdom Plantae. Welcome to the green world. Step through the portal with me into the spectacular green world of Kingdom Plantae. Imagine a cinematic landscape filled with towering trees, floating aquatic plants, and vibrant flowers everywhere. In this green realm, organisms are multicellular and eukaryotic, meaning their cells have true, well-defined nuclei. But here is the most crucial part. They are autotrophic. They possess chlorophyll and literally prepare their own food using just the sun's energy. As we explore deeper into this kingdom, you'll see the plants become more and more complex. They evolve distinct roots, stems, and leaves, special vascular tissues for transporting water, and eventually, seeds. We're actually going to start our plant journey completely underwater with the simplest plant group, Thallophyta. This includes green algae. These are aquatic plants, and their bodies are completely undifferentiated. No true roots, no stems, no leaves. Instead, their entire body is just called a thallus. Think of organisms like Spirogyra, which looks like those filamentous green threads you see floating in a pond, or the microscopic Chlamydomonas. They are plants for sure, but in their absolute simplest form. Moving out of the deep water and onto damp land, we find Bryophyta, and this is brilliantly showing evolution in action. Bryophytes, like mosses and liverworts, are known as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Why? Because they live on land in moist, shady places, but they absolutely still need water for reproduction. They have stem-like and leaf-like parts, but no true roots. Venturing a bit further inland, we enter the prehistoric-looking fern forests of Pteridophyta. These plants finally step it up with true roots, stems, and leaves. However, they still don't produce any flowers or seeds. Let's see how this all builds up in the highest regions of Kingdom Plantae. Here we reach the seed-bearing plants, which split into two great clans. First, the Gymnosperms. These are mostly your towering terrestrial plants, like pine trees. Their seeds are naked, which just means they aren't enclosed within fruits. Then we step into a colorful, blossoming world, the Angiosperms. These are the most highly developed plants on Earth. Their seeds are completely, beautifully enclosed within fruits and flowers. So if you're ever looking at an apple tree or a blossoming rose, you are looking at an angiosperm. Section 3, Animalia, the invertebrates, into the spineless depths. We now leave the green forests behind and dive dramatically into our final realm, Kingdom Animalia. Now, animals are multicellular heterotrophic organisms, meaning, unlike plants, they cannot make their own food. They have to consume others. We divide this massive wild kingdom into two major groups based on one single key feature, a backbone. First up, we explore the invertebrates. These are animals that completely lack a backbone or vertebral column. Our invertebrate adventure begins way down at the bottom of the ocean with Porifera. These are porous animals, like sponges, that just stay attached to the seafloor. Next, we encounter Coelenterata. These are hollow, bag-shaped animals armed with stinging tentacles around their mouths. Think hydra, jellyfish, and sea anemones. Moving right along, we find Platyhelminthes, the flatworms. Their bodies are completely flat and ribbon-like. Actually, many of them, like the tapeworm, are parasites. Then we have Nematoda, which are unsegmented, narrow, cylindrical threadworms, like the Ascaris roundworm. As we journey further, these invertebrates become incredibly complex. We meet Annelida, like the earthworm, whose soft bodies are composed of distinct rings, or segments. Then, behold the absolute largest group of invertebrates, Arthropoda. These are the armored warriors of the animal kingdom. They have jointed legs, compound eyes, and tough outer exoskeletons. Think of crabs, cockroaches, and butterflies. Next are mollusca. These animals have very soft, unsegmented bodies that they often protect by hiding inside a hard calcium carbonate shell, like a snail, though some like the octopus skip the shell. Finally, back in the marine depths, we find Echinodermata, the spiny-skinned animals with rough, star-shaped bodies, like the starfish and sea urchin. Section 4. Animalia, the vertebrates. The backbone highlands. Ascending from those spineless depths, we finally reach the domain of the vertebrates. Vertebrates are animals that possess a long, hard backbone starting from the lower side of the neck all the way to the end of the back. This backbone is made up of small bones called vertebrae, and it offers incredible structural support and shape to the body. It's a real game changer for evolution. Let's compare our 5 vertebrate clans side by side, shall we? We start in the water with Pisces, the fishes. They are cold-blooded, covered in scales, and breathe through gills. By the way, cold-blooded just means their internal body temperature changes depending on their environment. Next are the amphibia, like frogs. They live both in water and on land. Also cold-blooded, but their skin is slimy with absolutely no scales, and they breathe through lungs and moist skin. Then reptilia, like lizards and crocodiles. Found mostly on land, these cold-blooded creatures are covered in scales and breathe exclusively through lungs. Taking to the skies, we have aves, the birds. Now they are our first warm-blooded group, meaning they maintain a constant internal body temperature no matter what. They're covered in feathers, breathe through lungs, and have hollow bones to help them fly. Finally, the group we belong to, Mammalia, which includes everything from elephants to humans. And I've got a special visual clue to help you always remember the mammals. They are warm-blooded, their bodies are uniquely covered with hair, and most importantly, they possess mammary glands to nourish their babies. From a flying bat to a swimming whale, if it has hair and feeds its young with milk, it firmly belongs to the mammal clan. Section 5. 5 Kingdoms Complete. The Master Map. Explorers, we have successfully mapped the highest levels of life on Earth. Just take a step back and look at this magnificent progression. We conquered Kingdom Plantae, watching simple, rootless Thallophyta evolve into moisture-loving Bryophytes, then to leafy Pteridophytes, leading all the way up to towering Gymnosperms and beautiful, fruit-bearing Angiosperms. Then we ventured straight through Kingdom Animalia, starting from simple, porous sponges in the invertebrate zone, moving through armored arthropods, all the way up the backbone highlands to the most complex vertebrates of all, the mammals. Our 5-kingdom map is officially whole. Section 6. Adventure Final Quiz. The Trial of Knowledge. It is time for the final trial of our adventure. It's quiz time. I want you to shout out the answers to the screen when you know them. Ready? Let's test your memory for question number 1. Which primitive plant group acts like amphibians? Remember, they live in moist soil on land, but they still desperately need water to reproduce. Think back to that damp, shady forest zone. Bryophyta is the correct answer. If you remembered mosses and liverworts, give yourself a massive high five. Okay, question 2. Let's see if you can figure this out. I have a backbone, so I am definitely a vertebrate. My body is streamlined, covered in scales, and my temperature changes with the water around me because I am cold-blooded. Oh, and I breathe entirely through gills. Who am I? You got it. That is the Pisces group, the fishes. Excellent job connecting those physical traits to the correct vertebrate clan. You have mastered the complex, incredible realms of Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. Congratulations, our 5-kingdom adventure is officially complete. You can now look at literally any living thing on Earth, from the simplest green algae floating in a puddle to the giant elephants roaming the plains, and understand exactly where they fit in the grand string of life. But here is a final provocative thought to leave you with. Considering the astonishing evolutionary steps it took to go from a tiny single-celled monaran all the way to a highly intelligent, warm-blooded mammal, what kind of wild, new species do you think evolution might create in the next million years? Something to think about, right? Stay curious, keep exploring, and I'll see you on the next Explainer adventure.